Indisputable with Dr. Richard Ritchie. If nobody knows that channel, that's a diehard Democrat, as a matter of fact, and I don't agree with his total stance. This is King Hart. I'm back. Now there's a channel on YouTube called Indisputable with Dr. Richard Ritchie. I always watch him all the time. It's every day. And he's not the only one that they got an offense going on with a black man, and a lot of time black females or black people or children with law enforcement or other American citizens every damn day. Every day. And it's not only him. I don't even think he can keep up with all the events and all the attacks on black people. Because Phil and the Advice Show was doing it first, and that was about 5 years ago. Now I've been keeping up with everything concerning our community. And y'all, this is King Horse. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I'm gonna keep coming back and I'm gonna elevate my channel. And I do appreciate my subscribers, whatever little subscribers I got here. A lot of people say, that I got a lot of information on this channel and it's a small channel. But they appreciate the dialogue that I'm giving, and they appreciate the message that I'm conveying. So I will appreciate you guys as well. It's very dang important right now. All of this stuff and what we talking about is important. And then we got the masses of our people looking at a whole bunch of buffooning stuff. We're not even paying attention. But the science says 10% of a society, a group, can legitimize a movement. So as long as we got 10%, I'm happy with that. But I do want more in terms of what we need to do and how quick we need to do it. It's very alarming to be in the state which black people are in, especially black men. It's very alarming to be in this position as a black man, in this position where you're being attacked and you constantly looking at social media attacking your people for no reason at all. Police officers putting their hands around your neck because you asked for a supervisor when they were speaking in a presumptuous, rude manner to you as a law provider and protector of you in the community. They're supposed to serve and protect, and you pay taxes. Black people pay taxes. We're not tax exempt. We pay a lot of dang on taxes out our check. You ought to see the taxes that come out of my check. I know I'm busing Latino children to school. I know I'm paying the police officer. But I had ran into a police officer and he was very good to me. My son was in the car, but he wasn't good to my son. Because my son lied to the police. And I'm not taking up for the police. But sometimes it takes a very, very strong man to have such of a character. But yet and still, he could have been nicer to me. I'm sure he could have. But hey, I don't share the wealth of being white. I don't share the wealth of being another group and protected class in terms of what it means to be a man in the community. I'm dealing with inflation and trying to pay insurance and continue my profession in the community, as a dad and a seasoned man. And then, the police officer, he felt pity on that and he felt remorse of who I actually was, and he didn't give me a ticket. But other things happen. And but I'll say that there's a lot of police officers, and I have been mistreated and harmed by police, several police. There was a police officer who slapped me one time. And for some reason, I don't know, it was the higher power or the creator, but I didn't even feel it. It felt like a feather had hit my face. I don't know why, but it felt like a feather when the police officer slapped me hard as he could. And my whole body didn't even move. He was embarrassed. I said, "Is that all you got?" I just looked at him and it came out in a way I didn't mean to even say it. It came out in a way of like in a majestic manner, like I was some kind of king or something. And this had to be a higher power involved. I'm telling you, spiritually, I was in a spiritual state, and he did that. And I never will forget it. And he felt like an idiot, a little lost child. But for some reason, I was the one being abused and harmed But when at the end, at the end game, this police officer was embarrassed. Now I can't explain that totally because when you're in spirit world, things, other stuff happen, and we're Kingship understand this. Okay, we understand this when you have that type of existence. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there, and it has happened um, in different ways. But I've been affected by police. My question tonight is: when are Black people? What are we expecting to happen? Who do we think is going to come and save us from all of this brutality? This is what I'm asking tonight. I just want to ask Black men, not Black women. I want to ask Black men, who do you think gonna come and save us? We're the men. We are the leaders. We can't sit around and wait on policy and correction that we've already been implementing in the most I would say the most strategic way that we can, and we're laser sharp with it more and more each day, and we're learning how to go in the canals of communications with this, and that means targeting the paper, getting to understand the chain of command in terms of law enforcement, and I mean in terms of policy and the lawmakers inside your local city in town, or even in terms of state legislation and then federal. Because we have to understand who to go to and how to proceed. And kudos to the Judge Joe Brown because he's been talking about it with a lady that I really adore, and her name is Dee Tubman. If you haven't followed Dee Tubman, sign off to her channel. I subscribe to Dee Tubman. She had posted a discourse in a podcast. I mean, of the Judge Joe Brown from the Twitter feed onto YouTube, and her name is Dee Tubman, DeeTubman, and she's also a moderator, for the Black Authority and Tariq Nasheed. And I really admire the Black people trying to figure out the strategies in the order of business, the political order of how to fight um, against this system in the right way by proper procedure in terms of communications, how you actually do it, the chain of command, who do you go to? We've never really been familiar with that. We kind of trust the society to give us like a benevolent exchange and a more um, honorable exchange as a people, and this is not what they have been doing. And now, for the last 5 to 10 years, as a matter of fact, 10 years, it's been in our face because of social media, cell phones, and the anger of people concerning Black folks. Because I mean, we got people mad at us because of President Obama. He didn't do a dang on thing for Black people. But because we voted him in and because he Black, we got a double whammy. We got hit with the fact that he didn't do nothing for us, and then we got hit with the fact that society is mad at us because we changed the dynamics of leadership inside our presidential hierarchy. We changed that by using Obama, but we didn't get nothing from him. So we got it double, and he was our Frankenstein. But we got it double because society started attacking Black people with Obama. Remember when Obama was in office, Trayvon Martin was murdered, and along with other Black men, Philando Castile, just for nothing, just shot dead, and nobody did anything. It was like, what is going on? What do y'all think we are? We're human. We are important to our families and important to ourselves. We want to live and see the next day. We want to be a business and throttle and progress in society. Who in the hell are you to tell me I don't have a right to live? as a black man. What is wrong with people and what is wrong with black men? Well, we think and we have got this mentality that somebody is going to come and save us because it's the right thing to do. Just because it's the right thing to do don't mean people are going to do it. First of all, once we look at this more strategically and laser sharp, we have to understand we are the ones to do it. That's the common sense right there. You are the ones to stand for yourself. We got black people in leadership. You know, we got black people in government, but we don't come together and all say the same thing with this. We all got the same concerns, but we're not saying the same thing because we've been made to be dysfunctional in terms of fighting and in terms of orchestrating any progressive state of being. And that is what that has been strategically and sophisticatedly administrated to us by a dominant society and by power sources over us. And that means ownership, people who own things and who can be respected and honored because they have wealth over our heads. And this is the whole calling out and the whole reason for reparations. Just like that Dr. Ritchie I just talked about. Reparations is being called because of what happens to black people under the hands of white supremacy, under the hands of a society who has blackballed black people from having a voice in terms of respect and liberty the United States actually respect. And that's money and power and ownership to this place, which we were supposed to been exchanged in way by Constitution out of slavery because we were harmed, because of who we were, and because of who we are. We were supposed to be respected by laws that we never received. That is why we have a litigation with this country, basically like a lawsuit. And the grassroots is talking about it in a very sophisticated, laser sharp manner. Well, we are going to get something done. And as I do this talk, this is why I'm doing this talk so I can kind of and sort of and for real wake up the minds of my people and black people so we can stop saying every single thing, worrying about the Ukrainian war, you know, like a bunch of nutcase, worrying about trying to be all holier than thou. Well, that's been our culture. But God gave you five senses. God gave you the image and the heat to embody creation and leadership and made in his image as a God, as a king. So you're supposed to use what you have to bring forth change, even if it's speaking it into existence, having the conversation, changing the dynamics of what's said, leading the conversation, project takeover. Whatever you need to even talk about, change the genre of your life experience. Whatever, however you change it, it comes from within your intellect. It comes from your due diligence. It comes from your work. It comes from you. Whether you building with your hands in community and pulling people together, or talking about this, and actually getting on board with redirecting yourself and your stance for the greater good, for the alarming reason that you're being harmed or affected by it in a very very negative manner, and that means death or life concerning us, black people being killed and shot dead by the police, our children. And then we got a whole judicial system that will let people walk out with a whole bunch of catchphrases and a whole bunch of whistleblower terms using black and brown, saying we got a black and brown coalition, when the only people really getting harmed is black people, the slave descendants. And when somebody else get harmed, they be a policy and make us stand with them and shout in the street and before Capitol and before Capitol buildings in every city, standing with Asians and all this and Latinos and people who are being harmed. And then the bill get passed and they get tangibles and we still sit in the cut. That means we under America. So in terms of us being under America financially means that we got to be under America physically. It go hand in hand. We don't have any power if we don't own nothing. And we don't have finances protected by government. In terms of what this government has done and who this government is, as a pillaging group historically, people finances have to be in protections. And our finances not even that they're not even and protections to us. The finances that we generate and we're supposed to get have been gone to other people, sent out to other people, mandate to their community, and under protections for them to actually use in the time of need. And we still don't understand this, and we still being grabbed around the neck by the police just because we need a supervisor present, because we looking in the media and we see what they doing. So now we can't ask for a supervisor, or we can't question the police about whether or not he's treating the law right and throwing around legalities that are incompetent in terms of him and leadership and protection with guns on his side, while we are barely or hardly committing any crimes. Not saying that black folks don't commit crimes, because some black folks have committed crimes. All groups commit crimes. But for the most part, we up there not committing crimes, and people that are unarmed and don't understand things. And some black people run around, and some kids have mental illness and been shot and killed by police as black people. They didn't take the time to try to see what was going on to get them some help to administrate care and protection like they're paid to do with our tax dollars. I tell you, black people, we're going to have to get some life insurance too. We are in a war. And we ain't got time to be sitting up here waiting on somebody to come and save us. We got to be a project, get in community, understand this is alarming, respond to it in an alarming way, and respond to this with urgency. We got to respond to this with urgency, and we got too many black people double talking and double downing, all up in the conversation, and we talking about how benevolent we can be, because that's what we got used to as a culture, like we safe. And if we stand together, we know we'll be protected. But somehow in our freaking minds, as black people, we still depend on that good-hearted place where we don't do nothing but only believe. That's a powerful place for some things. But in terms of you as a people standing and showing the opposite and your opponent that you care about yourself is a real requirement. That's self-preservation. That's the first nature of law. How you gonna be respected without responding? If you lay in the street dead, you gonna die eventually, because you ain't gonna get up and get no water. You laying down, you can't eat there. Somebody gonna come and run over you. Something gonna happen. So this is what you've been doing socially and politically as black people. So if you running around here not standing for yourself and you're not responding, somebody come in your house and just start stealing and taking from your kids, and you just stand there and look at them. Do you think they're gonna stop stealing and say, oh, they're gonna stop and say, oh, well, this man, he humble and he ain't doing nothing, so we gonna just stop and leave him alone? No, that's not what's gonna happen. And I think that's what black people think. We're in a fallacy. What is wrong with us? This is time to wake up. Self-preservation, the first nature of law. You're gonna stand for your children. You're not gonna your wife and your kids and your community and yourself in a way which you care about yourself. You have a natural response. You got to respond to things. If you want to go to work, you got to get up and go down there to do the job. That's responding. To get out the bed, you got to move your feet and everything. You got to eat. You got to swallow. You got to respond. I'm not saying there's something wrong with believing and having faith. That is the most powerful thing you can do. But faith without work is dead. And work without faith is dead. The Bible tells you that much. And you are not to defeat the enemy during a war. And the Bible also tells you there are times that you should make war so that you can see the wheat between the chaff. You understand me? We got to start standing up, black people, black men. I mean, black men. I'm talking to the men. It's time for us to stand up and show these young boys and these young black men how to stand. I'm not playing with this. That's why I'm not talking in the community, telling people and these young black men to stand up and learn who they are and stop running around smiling and thinking everything okay and smiling in people's face and feeling sorry for people because you think you're going to be seen subconsciously. You want a cookie or a pat on the head because you seen your granddaddy do it. Are you seeing your mama or somebody show you this is how you do in society as a black person so that you won't be harmed, so that you can be accepted? They're not going to accept you. Right now, you getting beat up and shoved by the police while other people winning policy off your tax dollars. If that ain't enough to show you being disrespected, what else you need to know? The only thing left is you being pushed over in the graveyard. You got one foot on the graveyard and the other on the banana peel. When it comes down to understanding this and we're waking you up, yes, we're powerful. Yes, we're supposed to have faith and believe. And I believe and I have faith and I believe in our creator and our higher power. I do. And nobody will ever take that away from me. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying stand and use that what's inside of you to demonstrate your higher power as yourself as a creator and as a stand and as a firm of strength, a stern strength, and as a creator, as a builder, as a thought leader, as an intelligent being, as a functional being and not a dysfunctional being. You teach these boys how to feel and how to believe and how to understand and how to be a part of something. And you stand immediately. This is urgent, what we're dealing with here. This is very urgent. In reparations, the call out for it is to protect us and give us the dollar amount so that we can live in protection. You can't be here and safe without wealth in America. It's not a place where you can do that at. Just like you can't go in restaurants and sit down and eat and have water for free. They will take your butt to jail. You can't even have water free in your house. You got to pay a bill. Nothing's free. You don't have the ticket to get inside the amusement park and everything you need in that amusement park to live. Everything is in that amusement park you need to live. And you don't have the ticket, and the ticket is wealth and protection. That is the name of the game. You can't go somewhere expecting to be a part of something when you don't have the credentials to get in. And you're surrounded by it and you're doing things to batterize it. That's what America is. It's the amusement park that we have not been let in terms of being safe and surrounded by the wealth that protects people. And that's our very lives at stake. It's not about being luxurious. That's what it takes in America to survive. Wealth and safety, a dollar, money. And we have a lawsuit because we were here and harmed because people wanted to get wealth. That's the name of it. This is a dream country. This is a wealth country that's protected by wealth and ownership. Everything costs money. Guns and bullets cost. You can't be protected if you ain't got no money. Nobody want to hear your mouth. That's why they don't respect us, because we have been shoved out and contagion to that which make this country safe and wealthy. That which they built from our very bodies and our very pain. We have not been able to receive it. Being locked out because we've been fought and we don't talk. Right now, the wealth and protection of reparations is also that they're put in the mandate in order of legislation not to harm us, and that to send out the memo through the country and through the police department and the judges and the lawmakers get the invoice, and they understand this is a people you cannot harm. And this is with the tax dollar amount. This is with a wealth amount that I have given them. That's what they do. This is the order of business and political order that they treat people American liberty that people benefit from. So black people, you don't have that. And you're deserving of it. And you are the very person who built it and made it possible. Blood sacrifice. That's right. So these people are getting this stuff so that they can stay safe. They told the ICE police to leave Latinos alone. Remember, they had an Asian hate crime bill, and white people were also harming Asians, and they said it was black people. This is a war against black people, especially black men, which are supposed to lead, and the strength of any community is the man. So black men are important. Black women, the black men is important. So stop having these feminist conversations and understand this is an attack on all your people. And we supposed to be thinking the same way as a family and as a community. As one, as a unit, as a power source. Unity is power. Unity is power. They can divide you. That's a conquer. That's called divide and conquer. This stuff is elementary now that I study it to myself. And now I'm telling you these things because you guys you forget so much. A person that had been harmed a lot and hurt, they are trained themselves to throw it out so that they don't remember it, so they can live freely in themselves without mirroring the painful truth. So that's why your memory is not long. And people say you got low IQ and you don't remember nothing or how to fight, and you go back to whatever you were doing and you don't stand strong in your fight because you don't remember. You push things out from being harmed. You come from slavery, a group that was enslaved and that was harmed, and you learn to push things away from you so you can breathe without the thought of it, so you don't be enraged. All of that has happened to you, but this is a time which we want you to remember when you get up in the morning. We want you to remember 2 weeks from now. We want you to keep this in your ideology. We want this to be the new normal, like the Jews with the Holocaust, so we can walk straight in our existence and not fool ourselves with a fallacy in this war. So we can get through this and we can stand strong and let the people know what's bothering us and what's ailing us. Not the damn Ukrainian war. We at war over here. They warring against us. Don't you be forgetting. I understand why you forget. Look, I scientifically look up this stuff. I'm not just anybody. I'm looking up this stuff for a real reason, for a real passion. Whether I get a few people or what, that's better than none. So my voice to be heard in terms of what passion I have as a people, as a practicing self-preservation in the community, as a thought leader. And we have to get this ball to bouncing, and we have to continue it to bouncing. We have to stay laser sharp and do not forget what has happened to you next Monday and the Monday after that until things are corrected and that you're owed by the United States government and that you're in litigation with the United States government for protection. Don't you forget. And cut the check.